All right, fetchers, so it's chapter 2, and we need to make a visual chart. And we had 2.1, 2.2, 2.3a, 2.3b, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9. So 10 sections. Okay, in 2.1 and 2.2, we really learned the balance rule. And in these, we learned the addition principle and the multiplication principle, respectively, in these two sections. 2.3, we put them together. And we had really simple equations like, 2x plus 3 equals -5. And then in 2.3b, we have the three-step process to solving in all of its glory, where we have, fractions, parentheses, like terms, all that kind of stuff, in addition to the addition principle, multiplication principle. 2.4 was solving formulas. 2.5 was the is of what percent problems. 2.6 is the beginning of word problems, and we really emphasized the percent word problem. 2.7 was the other word problems that included geometry, consecutive integer. We had the two-part problem. We also had the simple arithmetic problem. And it's eluding me right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the average problem, the non-geometric formula problems. 2.8 today, we're talking about solving inequalities. And 2.9 is inequality word problems. So how do you make your visual chart? Well, you can make a visual chart any way that you want, but with 10 boxes, that can seem overwhelming. I would make one big box, and I would cover 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and A and B, okay, on that. And in this, I would have all of this information right here in this big box, and I would have the three-step process to solving. So, we have solve, and if we remember, the goal is to get X alone. And step number 1 is to simplify. And then we have our A and our B and our C, which is, fractions, parentheses, like terms, and one side. Now I'm drawing this really small and really fast. You can look at the book. We have all this addition principle, multiplication principle. I would discuss the balance rule. We learned about the balance rule, right there. We learned about the balance rule in, 2.1 and 2.2. We talked about the addition principle and multiplication principle. There was 3 concepts with that. Basically what I do to one side, I do to the other. Who is sharing sides with X? What are they doing? And then doing the opposite to both sides. And then this better be full of examples. And this is a test. And if you could truly bring the cheat sheet in, which you're not allowed to, but if you could, you'd be putting problems with fractions in them and parentheses. And so, this is a big box. You could make it even a little deeper in here if you needed to. But you need a lot of examples. You don't just want, you don't want, 2x equals 12. Okay, everybody can do that problem. Okay, what we want is, 1/3 x minus 2, equals, 3/5 x minus 2/5, plus 1/3, x, and having to solve all of that. You want to do that, and you write the problem, you show all your work, you get the right answer, you create all those examples there. From that point, I would take a smaller, thinner section, and I would break up 2.4 and 2.5, and this is solving formulas, and we know we're still using the three-step process to solving here, and so I would have at least 2 examples of solving formulas. What we're solving formulas, like A equals 1/2 BH, and we're solving, for H and things like that. Get a couple examples in there straight out of the workbook. 2.5 was the is of what percent problems. We had 3 examples, and the way they did it is there's 3 unknowns, like, 12 is, 15% of what number, okay? And then sometimes this is the unknown, sometimes this is the unknown, and this one, this is the unknown. Do all 3 examples, show how to do it. Is means equals, of means multiply, what means the variable, so we'll say of is a dot for times or whatever. And so we, you know, you can go through and define all of that like we did. Go back to your sections. We're going through this quick, so it seems kind of rapid. Remember, is, it always means equals. Of means to multiply. You know, what equals the variable x. And then, again, I have a massive section here where I took the 6 word problem boxes, and I would have percent and geometry and consecutive integer and all of them, right? All 6 of them. And in those boxes there, remember we had our identifier, and then, you know, we had, you know, the given and things you have to memorize. So I put all those inside of all those boxes, and then I'd have an example. Now here's the kicker. If you got a word problem and you're making a cheat sheet, do you need to write the word problem? Of course you do. How are you going to know what problem you're doing if the word problem is not on there? You know, it's kind of a, you know, catch-22. It's like, well, if you don't have the word problem written out here, how can you know how to do the problem? So you're going to have to write, you know, a percent problem. You know, that you're going to have to get an example of a work backward percent problem. You know, be like, you know, Johnny paid, you know, $78 for a pair of shoes after a discount of 25%. How much did the shoes cost, you know, before the discount? You got to write all that out, and you got to solve it, DVPE it. So a lot of space is needed here, big deep box. Maybe again, maybe even go a little deeper than this if you think so. Okay, and so that's going to cover all of 2.6 and 2.7. Maybe bring it all the way here. And then you split this. This is 2.8 and 2.9, and you can take what you get from your notes in 2.8 and 2.9 today about solving inequalities. Okay, and we have one big example from class today. We did it 2 ways. One bringing the variable to the left, one bringing it to the right, showing, you know, we got to talk about the flip principle in here. You got to have all that in there. Then 2.9 is inequality word problems, and we're going to do 2 examples in class today, an average problem and a geometry problem, and you better have those 2 examples written and done in here. That's your visual chart for chapter 2. That can really help you out. Thank you.